Good morning, everyone. Honorable Minister for Electricity, Government of Kerala, who is joining us virtually. Sir Jyoti Lal, Additional Chief Secretary Power, Government of Kerala. All the dignitaries, other dignitaries on the dais, off the dais. I think we have someone also joining virtually for the session. All the speakers, experts, and delegates who have joined us for this summit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my privilege to join for the Global Hydrogen and Renewable Energy Summit hosted by Government of Kerala. Kerala State has been, as Mr. Jyoti Lal very elucidated all the innovations which have been done, all the targets which are being laid out. Of course, Mr. Veluri also mentioned. So Kerala has been at the forefront of both renewable energy and the nascent field of clean hydrogen. And therefore, I'm happy that it is also taking a lead in hosting such landmark events. I would particularly like to mention the proactive approach of my friend Mr. Jyoti Lal, ACS, who I have interacted with him with extensively since 2022 on all aspects of sustainability. And from how I've seen him in the morning and what I know of him, I think most of you would have interacted with him very very animatedly, I'm sure, on many issues concerning your whatever you deal with. India's economy, as we are all aware, is rapidly growing, leading to increase in demand for energy and resources. The energy use has doubled in the last 20 years and is likely to grow by at least another 25% by 2030. That's in the short time which is left to 2030. We already, we import over 40% of our primary energy requirements worth over about $90 billion or more every year. Major sectors like mobility and industrial production are significantly dependent on imported fossil fuels. This, therefore, necessitates a shift towards technologies that enable enhanced share of renewable energy sources in the energy mix and progressively reduce the reliance on fossil fuels. That's, I would say, just laying out the context of what we need to do and why we need to do. As was mentioned by Jyoti, that we've set out a target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil energy capacity, electricity capacity by 2030. To just compare it, we were about 75 gigawatt in 2014, now, 11 years ago. From 75, we've grown to about 222. The latest figures are 222 gigawatt of non-fossil electricity capacity by the end of February, out of which 215 or so is renewable energy, and that's a pretty big increase. We also, as you know, we've achieved a landmark figure of 100 gigawatt. We crossed the threshold of 100 gigawatt of solar capacity, which, if many of you would recall, in 2015, when the target of 100 gigawatt of solar capacity was laid out, very few people, only a fraction of people, I would say, believed that we could achieve it. And now it's a reality. Yes, it's taken a little more time than what we anticipated, but it's okay. But we've now set the ecosystem for doing that. So we've crossed an important milestone of 200 gigawatt of renewables. We've crossed the important milestone of 100 gigawatt of solar. And we are about to cross 50 gigawatt of wind. And these are landmarks which are there in the current year itself. However, from now 2022, now we have to go to 500 in the next 6 years. And that's not, we are going to do it, but it is not easy. So that's the reason that we all need to gather in events like this, in forums like this, and discuss how to take it forward, how to make sure it happens in the timeline that we've set out for ourselves. We have about 180 gigawatt of projects under implementation. We have a gap, but 180 gigawatt of projects are under implementation. I'm not even counting another 80 gigawatt of projects which are tendered out. So actually, if you total them up, there's about 260. Even if no, 70% of these projects come online, even then you have a substantial amount of energy, which will renewable energy projects, which will become operational in the next few years. We also started, as you know, we started 50 gigawatt of bidding, central agencies bidding from 2023-24. That means 1st April 23 onward, we started 50 gigawatt per year of bidding, and we'd achieved that. We achieved that in 23-24. We are going to achieve that in 24-25. And this is in addition, the states do their own bidding. For example, all the states put together did a bidding of about 17 gigawatts of capacity, renewable energy capacity in 23-24. And similarly, it would happen in the current year as well. I don't have the exact number. So we are bringing out bids aggressively, and therefore we are quite confident that this will lead to projects which will become operational. And that's why I'm very confident. And as was Mr. Jyotilal also mentioned, we are confident that we will achieve 500 gigawatt. There are a lot of naysayers. There are a lot of people who are doubting it, but I can assure you it will happen. But of course, there are challenges to it. The road is not easy. As you know, my colleagues in the industry who are present here would know that grid availability is increasingly becoming a challenge. So we have to find out ways on how to bridge that gap. Where should the projects come up? Which are the areas where the grid is available? How fast we can have the grid available in the ones where the congestion is started, like Rajasthan or Gujarat and some states like that. How do we make additional capacities available? Can we use existing capacities? Can we use an existing solar capacity, solar grid availability that we've awarded? Can we use it in the evening hours for others in other ways? So can we, make an optimal use of the grid which is already available? There are also gaps between the letters of award. We are awarding projects, but they are not resulting in PPAs and the power purchase agreement. There is a gap. It takes time for PPAs to happen, and therefore that period of time, then the project is in the gray zone in some way, and therefore it cannot go ahead. So there's a gap. We need to address that. Land availability, of course, is increasingly becoming a challenge. Some states, yes. Some states, no. For example, Kerala, yes, because being a small state, land availability will be a challenge. But, we're finding out innovative solutions. We've come out with a, great floating solar policy. And that's something which will help Kerala achieve the RE goals that it has. It also lead to India achieving the goals, the RE goals that we have. And therefore, every state is trying to figure out how best to address this issue. Investment, the kind of investments which are needed, just to give you a comparison. In 2000, from the period of 2004 to 2014, a decade, we invested about 3 lakh crore, about $35 billion in RE projects. The next decade, 2014 to 2024, we invested about 6.85 lakh crore, about 7 lakh crore, or about $80 billion in RE sector. So 35 billion to 80 billion. However, now we estimate the kind of growth that we are looking at and the kind of all the projects that we want to do, including transmission and including everything else, we would need $400 billion. That's the kind of investment needed in the sector. So therefore, that's the kind of growth which is required. And therefore, if we have to find out a way, the people are still getting the financing, but increasingly we need to find out other ways to do it. So therefore, we need to address all these challenges, and while we want to reach the goal that we have laid out for ourselves. Green hydrogen, of course, as we know, it has the potential to play a key role in on the low carbon economic pathways. It will be crucial for hard to abate sectors. That has to be understood, and we all of us who are gathered here know that it is key to the hard to abate sectors. refining, fertilizers, shipping, steel, long-haul transport, just to lay out a few. But of course, there are many other sectors where hydrogen is used, and can we replace the hydrogen, gray hydrogen, with green hydrogen? We launched the National Green Hydrogen Mission in January 23, just over 2 years ago. A lot of progress has been made, and I'm sure we, in the sessions which will be there today and tomorrow, you will be delving into that in greater detail on some of those finer aspects of green hydrogen. In the site scheme, the main incentive scheme, out of 20,000 crore, $2.5 billion worth of what we have set out for the mission, 13,500 crore is 17,500 crore is for incentives. So that's the lion's share is for incentives. And so though that incentive is, as out of the 17,500 crore which we have set out as incentive, which we have allocated, or 9,700 crores has been awarded already. So we have made a significant dent in that incentive awarding. In electrolyzers, we had allocated 4,440 crores, and the entire amount has been allocated for 3,000 megawatt capacity to 14 companies. And each company, although they may have been awarded 300 megawatt, they are setting up bigger capacities because that's whatever the minimum viable service. So therefore, larger capacities of electrolyzer manufacturing capacities are coming up than what we have awarded, and that's what the purpose of incentive scheme is. In green hydrogen production, we have awarded about 5,300 crores to about less than a million metric tons per annum capacity. It's also important to know that we had two tranches of how we rolled out the scheme for the incentive. In the first tranche, while we expected the average incentive, because what was being, people were asking for, it was through a bidding route, we thought it would be higher, but it came to about average came to about 24 rupees for the first tranche. The second tranche, it has come down to 16.5 rupees. And that shows the kind of confidence that people have in reducing the cost of hydrogen as we are going forward. And we're talking about a gap of about a year, 1 year between the first tranche and the second tranche, a little more than a year. And that's the kind of average. And therefore, we had originally thought that we will be, the kind of money that we have, we will be able to allocate, award, about a 1.3 million metric tons per annum capacity of green hydrogen. We would be able to support through the money that we have. But now, now looking at this average, we feel that we should be able to support another million metric tons per annum using the money that we have, and therefore that's something which is going to be important. R&D, we rolled it out. The R&D, we have about 400 proposals were received. All these are under final evaluation, and I believe they are now at the awarding state. I think about few of them have been decided. Some of them are being are in the process. There's a lot of things happening on the R&D. We have received 100 proposals under the centers of excellence in a part of the R&D thing. In standards and regulations, green hydrogen cannot be done in isolation. We need to lay out the entire framework. In standards and regulations, we have recommended 150 plus standards, out of which 91 have already been published. And of course, some decision has been made on some of them may not be required, but 91 have already been published. And these recommendations includes India-specific standards. For example, in two-wheeler standard nobody else is making, so we have to make our own standard, and therefore, these are something that we are working on. Testing facilities are being set up. Again, we have a very nice National Institute of Solar Energy is our implementing agency. About 40 proposals have been received for testing facilities. Skilling, as Mr. Jyotilal mentioned, skilling is important for Kerala, but for the nation also, we have been looking at how to bring in skilling for the national green hydrogen. And there again, under the Ministry of Skill Development, 931 qualification packs have already been developed, and they are rolled out. They are rolling out the skilling programs. We have, of course, made several changes in the policy changes to make it happen. ISTS waiver, exemption for, from environment clearance for standalone projects, duty benefits for captive RE power plants in SEZ. So the government keeps getting suggestions from the industry, from stakeholders, and we try to keep pushing it across, because across other ministries. It is not a project run by one ministry of Government of India. It is actually a whole of government approach as far as this mission is concerned. And I'm very confident that the way it is progressing and the way I see the turnout today also, that this will again be a very successful mission. Just to again give you a number so that you can show, it shows the kind of progress which you are making. 17 companies have announced projects totaling 7.6 million metric tons of green hydrogen per annum. And our target is to set up capacities of 5 million metric tons per annum by 2030. So 7.5 million metric tons of green hydrogen projects have been announced by 2030, showing the confidence that the industry has in this. So we have traversed a long way in renewable energy and green hydrogen, which is the exciting area. I think it's very important that we understand the progress we've made. But of course, there are issues. I believe I'm not going to point out issues for lack of time. But this, I think, the next 2 days you will have enough opportunities to discuss that and offer suggestions on how to do it. This summit promises exciting discussions across key issues related to both RE and green hydrogen sectors. We have a battery of experts. I've seen the lineup, and it's very, very impressive how the government has put it up together for this summit. And we will have these experts sharing their thoughts at each session. There are also industry-specific presentation, and I think though that will also be interesting to see how specific companies are rolling out their RE or the green hydrogen interventions. I look forward to productive outcomes of this deliberations over the next 2 days, and I hope that I'll be. I look forward to a document maybe at the end after in a couple of months to see how this all what was decided and how we are taking it forward. Thank you so much, and all the best to you all.